Like many of you, I assume I'm a huge Beatles fan. Always have been. For me, Beatles music is important because initially it makes me remember my father and the great days I would have with him on the weekends when he would play his Beatles records. And of course, as you get older, you get into music more, you realize how much of an influence they had on other musicians and the course of music in general. And, I think every Beatles fan kind of has these moments where they like each of the Beatles a little bit more for whatever reason, or they think about each one of them for different reasons, with specific modes of wonder in mind. And they got so important that it transcended music. It was into culture and politics even, And when you get into the discussion about why the Beatles broke up, there's all the classic reasons that you would list. But one that I think is overlooked is the essential difference between John and Paul. With their outlook on life and how to conduct yourself in public, and the true relationship of a musician with the rest of the world in a practical frame of mind, as opposed to entertainment. Having a message in a song as opposed to having the song be something that will just make you feel good or make you reminisce, as opposed to being something that will make you think and change your way of doing things. The essential difference that I see most prominently right now in 2013 when I watch videos of Paul McCartney sitting right next to Barack Obama at the Kennedy Center in those idolatrous concerts that they have in honor of his music, where say like someone like Dave Grohl plays a Paul McCartney Beatles song. The Beatles songs were usually, when they were written by John or Paul or both, they were called Lennon McCartney, but as their band progressed, usually they were individual songs written almost exclusively by one or the other and polished by the other one, or just something about it was done by the other one. But when you got down to it, all four Beatles contributed the same amount as the other John or Paul did. Say like if it was Paul McCartney's song, it goes to John, what little bit that he put into it was in balance the same as what Ringo or George put into it with a guitar solo or a drum fill. So there's Paul songs and John songs. The more serious you get about it, you recognize how volatile John Lennon became about world politics in the latter years of his life, and especially in the last year of the Beatles' existence, with his outspoken comments and demonstrations about the Vietnam War, and just, world fraud, and how governments need to be stopped. And it was just this embodiment of, please do something about this. Whereas Paul doesn't say anything. Nothing. To this day, he doesn't say anything about world corruption. He'll sit next to Barack Obama, at this point the biggest mass murderer in the world, and just clap his hands and go along with the shtick and have nothing to say in opposition, or having this great moment where he could, Paul McCartney of all people, if he just decided to be political, where he just went on the microphone. I always said this, about like Bob Dylan These people have phenomenal power that they don't use. They could go up to the microphone and tell everybody in the world, do not buy this. Do not vote for this person. Because I say so. Because they are this. And they're doing this. And it's wrong. And we've got to change things. And you know what? Nothing would be more powerful than that. What Bob Dylan or Paul McCartney could do in a single moment at a live concert that was recorded and put on YouTube by hundreds or thousands of people would happen. If Paul McCartney said boycott Israel because they are murdering kids in Gaza, it would happen. It would happen. These guys don't say anything. Nothing. And it's real power that they are ignoring. And I can't help but wondering, what would John Lennon say? I know he wouldn't be silent. He is silent right now probably because of that. You know, when someone gets killed so unnecessarily, it's usually done in a really stupid circumstance. I mean, there were people that wanted John Lennon dead because they knew how powerful his voice was and how mad he was getting about world corruption. They couldn't have him actually telling people what to do. And he was killed, and even that didn't change Paul McCartney's silence on world politics. Nothing. And to this day, he's going on as the remaining brilliant Beatle who's still bringing in these big concerts and being awesome. And if you see him in some of his live shows, he sounds better than the records. At 71 years old, and he's just amazing, talented. But it's so frustrating that to know the way the world is laid out with the real power structure, when it comes to addressing the masses and influencing the masses, nobody is more powerful than the entertainers. And nobody is more famous in the world of music than Paul McCartney. Nobody. And the idea that he says nothing about the corruption. I mean, he does things for charity work all the time. It's great. To stop world hunger and to help disaster relief. I know he does those things. But he's got power that is not ever going to be used. And that is a shame. People wonder what broke up the Beatles. That's what it was. The fact that John Lennon wanted to do something about all this, and Paul did not. That's it. You can't blame Yoko. You can't... None of that. It was just ideological differences, where John Lennon wanted to make a message, whereas Paul McCartney wanted to make music. John Lennon wanted to make music with a message. You know, Paul McCartney wanted to make music for massage, kind of thing. And that's just another ingredient to the tragedy of John Lennon's death. He was ready to do it. And if he was alive today, because he would give back awards from Queen Elizabeth, his MBE, you know, in protest of what Britain was doing. He was that kind of guy. That's really powerful stuff. Paul McCartney's not that kind of guy. And that's the difference between them. And that's probably, in the beginning, the balance, the yin and yang that made the Beatles awesome. But in the end, it's why they weren't together. Because just once they had money and once they had power to speak for themselves, their inability to be compatible with a vision of what to say and what to tell people to say and what to tell people to do in respectful frame of mind, totally divided for whatever reason. Now, we don't know why Paul McCartney's silent on these things, on the world atrocities. He's never said a thing, like not a thing. Nothing. And that's amazing. It's one of the only things you can really criticize about him. Beatles fans give him hell just because they like John Lennon better, but Paul McCartney's never done anything bad, he's a great guy. He just separated, church from state, church and state difference of music and politics. And that's admirable to a degree, but there's an inherent power that he has. More than any other musician that you can name. If he got up on a mic and told people, please do this for me, millions would do it. And it would make a major difference. Because we are at a moment in the world where we need millions of people to change what they're doing. It's the only way anything's going to happen. To shut down the atrocities. To shut down the powers in a peaceful way without guns going off. Just people boycotting, people not paying taxes, people not, feeding into this corporation or that. Just shutting things down on a massive scale, peacefully. John Lennon would have done that. I believe. I imagine. Thanks for watching.